Welcome to Films and Stuff with your hosts, Pete Mitchell and Ethan Hunt.
Pete, welcome back. How are you today?
I'm good, Ethan. How are you?
Okay, I am great, and I am very comfortable in my chair because I know that we've got a long session today and a lot to talk about.
This is going to be a doozy.
It's going to be a doozy, and that's because we're going to talk about the Mission Impossible, I guess what do you call it, anthology film series?
Yeah, it's got so many in there that it's got an anthology is probably good. It's a lot of movies.
Yeah.
It's almost approaching Fast and the Furious levels of movies.
I was just going to say, apart from Fast and Furious, is there any movie franchise? I don't think like Marvel counts because that's so many different things, but is there any movie franchise other than Fast and Furious that has as many films?
James Bond, which this is very much
maybe James Bond, yeah.
This is clearly the American take on the spy genre, which I think James Bond was the prototype or the predecessor of. And I think Mission Impossible has gone in a very similar vein, but has focused on the action element of it. Yeah. Right? A little bit on the espionage, don't get me wrong. There's still quite a fair bit of espionage with the Mission Impossible series. I think, in fact, I would go so far as to say both series have influenced each other. I think if you look at the James Bond series, of the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s,
right,
and even the early 2000s,
right,
and then the Mission Impossible series, I think now, like with the Daniel Craig remake reboot of the James Bond franchise, that's also got relatively good levels of espionage in it, but is also been kind of predominantly known for its action sequences, right?
Whereas Fast and Furious is all about action sequences.
Family and action and Corona. That's it.
Yeah.
All three, right? Corona beers, not Corona the virus, Corona beers, fast cars, beautiful women, and family. That's really all that franchise has. It's don't get me wrong, it is a very shallow series, but I love it. Yeah. And Mission Impossible, and James Bond, I think, was initially all about the gadgets and then became a little bit more about a little bit about espionage and the plots. And I think Mission Impossible started out more about the plots, almost no gadgetry, and now has kind of become a mix of gadgetry, action, and then a little bit about saving the world.
So can you believe the first Fast and Furious was in 2001, but the first Mission Impossible was 1996.
Yeah. Yeah. And
that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Right?
I stand by the fact that I think Mission Impossible 1 is still my favorite one.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I loved most of them. I wasn't a huge fan of Mission Impossible 2, but I think Mission Impossible 1, for me, because I grew up watching the remake of the Mission Impossible series. So remember
the television
Mission
shows,
Impossible, the TV
shows.
show. Right. Yeah. So the television shows had 2 iterations, right? Or not 2 iterations, but at least the second half of the iteration was a little bit more modern and more gadgety. Mm. That's the version that I watched the most of. And then that's why I really liked Mission Impossible 1, the 96 one, because it was really a spy thriller kind of movie. And it wasn't, there were gadgets in there. There was definitely a few gadgets in there. There were a few action sequences. And of course, one of the most famous, if not the most famous Mission Impossible pose, right? 25, 30 years later, still stands the most iconic image of Tom Cruise hanging off of 2 wires, suspended in an all-white room, trying to steal information from a computer, right?
Yep. I think, so I agree with you. I think that's, even to this day, the most iconic scene or image But for me, and I agree, that first Mission Impossible, which was Mission : Impossible, that first Mission Impossible was, as you're right, it was really about intrigue and the double agents and who was working with who. For me, I think if I'd watch that movie again, it would not stand the test of time, because I remember there being a lot of email. And I remember it was like AOL email.
Yeah.
And I think that would not age well. But the deception part, the mission in Prague, I think that aged very well. And that's part of the intrigue that I think in the most recent installments has not really been there as much.
I think what Mission Impossible did, the first one did, was that a lot of the others definitely didn't do, although they started doing again, was they said our audiences are smart.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't think that we were dummies watching the show, right? Or watching the movie. Mm-hmm. So they didn't have to explain things in outright fashion. And the best example I always think of was in Mission Impossible 2. There's a scene where Tandy Newton has to steal a disk drive from the main bad guy while they're at the horse racing track. And he's carrying it originally in his left jacket pocket inside.
Mm-hmm.
And she needs to steal it from him, give it to Ethan or give it to the team, get it copied, and then put it back before he notices. Right? And she does that, and she was like, yes, I've taken it from his left jacket pocket. And then everyone reiterates, yes, it was in his left jacket pocket. And then he mentions, oh, yes, you can take the drive. It's in my right jacket pocket, which means, of course, he knew she had taken it from him and put it in the wrong jacket pocket, right? But like, you didn't need to tell us explicitly that she messed up.
Yeah.
Right? But what they did was they hounded on that fact. It's like, oh yes, it was in my left jacket pocket. Now it's in my right jacket pocket. Like, okay, we're not idiots. We get it. She messed up. We know that she's a double agent. Move on. Right?
Yeah.
Give us a little bit of credit. We're not all idiots.
You're right.
But whereas in the first one, and I get it, people were confused. They didn't fully understand. And maybe, some of them are dummies, but I like that they didn't. I like that they were saying, hey, this is a spy movie. If you can't keep up, you have to pay attention.
So in 1996, would you have ever imagined that in 30 years, right? In 30 years or 28 years, you'd be on episode number 8? Because that's what we're looking at, right? Is in 2024, we're supposed to have MI8.
Is it 24? Okay.
I'm reading different things, but I mean, do we even have a date for MI7 yet? It's going to be the end of 2022? Is that right?
I don't know. So again, the pandemic kind of ruined everything in the sense that it was supposed to be that 7 and 8 were filmed back to back, which led me to believe that 7 and 8, so it said two things about that. One, it potentially said that 7 and 8 were going to be direct sequels of each other and were going to be related to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And two, more importantly, it also said to me that, hey, Tom Cruise isn't a spring chicken anymore. You can't have him jumping off of buildings indefinitely for the rest of his life. Right? So let's get the maximum we can out of him while he's still whatever age he is. Because when we want to film Mission Impossible 9 and he's 65 years old and needs a cane to walk around because he's broken his hip, that's not going to work.
I mean, you're not exaggerating, though, because he's 57 right now, right?
Right.
I mean, he's 57 in the year 2023. We haven't even seen 7 and 8 come out. So if they're going to film a 9, I mean, it would not come out until he is 61.
Yeah, so that's the look, he made a deal with the devil because he doesn't look like he's older than 40. He's still
and God bless
young.
him for that deal, yeah?
I mean, he is at 57. It's somehow, every time he's on screen, it somehow still looks like he's in the prime of his life, which is crazy, right?
Yeah.
But again, good for him. But, at some point, it's going to start looking comical to see a 60-year-old man or a 70-year-old man or whatever he's going to be doing the kinds of things that he's doing.
Yeah, I agree. So let's go through the anthology, because for me, I'm really looking forward to MI7. I'm looking forward to MI8. I need more information about what these are about. But to be honest, it's been so long. Number 6 was called MI Fallout. Right? And this is 2018.
Okay.
I've just lost track of the first 6. So do you think we can just take a minute and kind of like summarize where we've gone, and then we can make some observations about this franchise?
Yeah. Yeah. So let's start from the very beginning, I guess.
Okay. MI1, or just Mission Impossible, right? 1996.
Just Mission Impossible, 1996. This was the introduction to the Mission Impossible series.
Yeah.
You had a team of, they don't say CIA, but it's like a semi-CIA-esque, but it's obviously not CIA, operatives. They're on doing missions. Tom Cruise's character.
They're called IMF. The Impossible Missions Force, right?
IMF. Something like that. That's exactly right. Right. So these guys are, you find out, that their team is slowly killed off one by one. They're betrayed. They don't know by who.
Right.
They believe it's got to do with a knock list, which is a non-official covers list.
Yep.
And that's why he has to go and steal that information from the CIA so that he can pretend to sell it to the bad guy to uncover the mole in the IMF that's betrayed them. And you find out at the end of the long mission, it's great. There's some fantastic action sequences, including a helicopter chase inside a train tunnel.
Yeah.
Right? Also another one of those seminal action sequences.
Yes.
And you find out that Jim Phelps, who was the character who was the star of the TV series, was actually the guy who betrayed the mission or the team for $10 million or whatever that number was at that time, which in today's date and age, seems kind of like a laughable amount of money, right? So maybe.
It says something about your financial position. I have to say, Pete.
No, a laughable amount in the sense that in the movies,
10 million.
Yeah, exactly. Excuse me while I pop open some Dom Perignon.
Yeah. Dr. Evil.
Exactly. That's my point. Is that's the kind of thing. So you end with that, and then you thought, hey, this was a great Mission Impossible movie. This was, the dawn. This was before Hollywood was on its current franchise everything kick.
The sequel kick. Yeah.
Right. And so I thought, hey, I don't know if we're ever going to see another one again. I hope we do, but I really enjoyed it. It was fine. Lo and behold, early 2000s, you can see that Mission Impossible now has got a huge increase in budget. They've got Anthony Hopkins on the team. They've got, I think this was Tandy Newton's first major role.
Maybe.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
Again, very long time ago. I can't remember. But so I just remember, that sequence where she and Ethan Hunt are driving across the mountaintops in Spain, and he's trying to make her his mole into this bad guys organization, blah, blah, blah. Again, another few great sequences there. It's about the spread of virus.
So we're talking about, this is MI2, right?
This was Mission Impossible 2, yeah.
So this is in the year 2000. So yeah, it's been about 4 years, right? And Mission Impossible was, at the time, I think it was pretty groundbreaking though, right? I mean, we thought that was a very groundbreaking film. They waited 4 years. They had MI2. MI2, was it a disappointment for you?
It was a little bit because they dumbed it down and they went a little action heavy.
I thought it was the opposite. I thought it was not action heavy. Do I have that? Am I misremembering that?
I thought it was a little bit more on the action heavy. You open on him doing some rock climbing to some techno, or not techno, but like rock music, and then you see him jump out of a skylight with the virus that samples that he's taken after he injects Tandy Newton with the virus. So you see a little bit of I don't know. I think the problem I had with it was that it felt a bit dumbed down. I didn't mind the action. It just felt like they were not making the movie for an intelligent audience. They were making a movie more for an action-oriented audience. No judgment, by the way. I'm just saying that's what it felt like.
I think you're a little bit right. I don't remember Mission Impossible 2 very much. I remember 1 for sure. I thought it was groundbreaking. I don't remember 2. And then
it was
3,
directed by John Woo.
It was John Woo. Which means a lot of explosions.
Exactly. Yeah? So there was explosions. Yeah. There was a scene where the two of them are literally fighting while on motorcycles. There were doves everywhere. You know what I mean?
That's what I remember the doves. I definitely remember the doves.
So there was a little bit of cool espionage when where he puts his own face mask on the bad guy and he wears the bad guy's face on his, and so he kills. The bad guy ends up killing his best friend thinking that's Tom Cruise, but it's not. So there was a little bit of subterfuge there, but it was, again, it just felt like it didn't feel like an espionage movie. It didn't feel like a spy thriller. It just felt like a good action movie.
I agree. And then Mission Impossible 3 didn't come out until
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yes. And so I think because Mission Impossible 2, I think it performed very well at the box office. Yeah. I think they said it was the best grossing film of 2000, but it wasn't really critically amazing. Then it took them another 6 years to hit Mission Impossible 3. 2006, Mission Impossible 3 came out. And this is where I felt like Mission Impossible finally kind of like found itself, right?
Yeah, this is where I think you get a real striking. They did a really good, or not good, but they did a better job of balancing the espionage elements of the movie.
Yes,
with the action elements of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what made Mission Impossible 3 in particular very good was Philip Seymour Hoffman. He played an extremely good bad guy.
Yes,
extremely good. Billy Crudup as the mole inside the IMF wasn't great. It wasn't fantastic. Not like I like Billy Crudup, but I think his role choices have been not so hot since he was in that the movie where he plays the rock star.
Oh, I don't. Tell me.
Oh my God, it's actually one of my favorite things. Starts with an A. Hold on, that's gonna bother me. I'm gonna look it up.
It starts with an A where he's a rock star?
Yeah, he was in...
Almost Famous.
Almost Famous. That's the one. So that, for me, one of... anyway, regardless, I thought that was a good movie. But I think that Philip Seymour Hoffman, phenomenal bad guy. Like, really good bad guy.
I agree. I mean, honestly, this cast was so good, right? I mean, So first of all, I agree. We should add Philip Seymour Hoffman to our episode where we talk about most iconic villains, right?
Right.
Because his portrayal here of what was it called, the Rabbit's Foot or whatever the guy's name was, this was amazing. But this is a very, very good cast, right? This is the first time I think we've seen Ving Rhames, Michelle Monaghan. As you mentioned, Billy Crudup, Kerry Russell.
Ving Rhames was in Mission Impossible 1.
Oh, was he? He's been in all of them.
2. Yeah. I think he was in 1
and 2. Whoa. No way. Really?
Yeah. Because he had that funny line where he's getting shot up while he's in the helicopter, and he gets shot in his jacket, and he goes, "Oh, you son of a bitch! That was a Gucci jacket or something like that."
No way.
Yeah. I think I vaguely remember him doing that.
You're right. I'm looking at his anthology. He was Luther in Mission Impossible, and he was Luther. It's funny that they put in Mission Impossible. They just put he's Luther Stickle. In Mission Impossible 2, they say IMF agent Luther Stickle. But yeah, he was in both of them. You're right.
Yeah.
Wow, he's been in all of them. Kerry
Yeah.
Russell, Maggie Q, Lawrence Fishburne. Wow, that MI3. But this was J.J. Abrams, right? He kind of came in and...
Yeah, so
and
this was, I think,
as
J.J.
he
Abrams'
does,
directorial debut in the
Yeah.
Mission Impossible franchise. I think since then it's been taken over by Chris McQuarrie.
Yep.
But in general, this is, I think, where you now see Mission Impossible entering the public zeitgeist of pop culture.
Yeah.
I think Mission Impossible 1 was a little bit low key. Mission Impossible 2 was like I think some people dismissed it as a John Woo action movie, but I think it was Mission Impossible 3 that really put the franchise on the roadmap of most viewers' minds.
Between J.J. Abrams and Christopher McQuarrie, we're missing Brad Bird, who did only one, which is MI4. Right. MI4, which was MI4 is called Ghost Protocol. So it went Mission Impossible. Mission Impossible 2, Mission Impossible 3. Then it went Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, right? After 3, they stopped using the numbers. 4, 5, 6, Ghost Protocol, Rogue Nation, Fallout. And then I guess 7 and 8 are whatever, to be determined.
Right. So I think Ghost Protocol was the fourth one. Also, excellent movie. This is where I think we see the true blend of high-level espionage with high-level action.
And this this is the first time we have Simon Pegg involved, right?
I don't remember him in 3. He could be, but I don't remember him in 3.
Yep. And Jeremy Renner came in I kind of felt like they were thinking of like Jeremy Renner would take over, but then Jeremy Renner just kind of like, I think he is removed, right? Eventually.
Yeah, I think so. No, he appears in the other movies, but like so they never said this explicitly, and of course no one would ever admit to it. But I think they secretly brought in Jeremy Renner with the hopes that if he were well liked by the audience, and if he stood out, that they would potentially use Jeremy Renner as someone to supersede Tom Cruise in future installments.
Yeah,
right. They did that with Bourne Identity as well, or one of the Bourne movies. They tried to get Jeremy Renner as a potential Jason Bourne replacement. It didn't work. And so, he kind of gets put back in the background,
Yeah. Is Ghost Protocol? I mean, now we think of all these Mission Impossibles as having at least one like amazing wow stunt, right?
What do you think it was for Ghost Protocol?
Ghost Protocol is climbing Burj Khalifa, right?
Yeah, I think so too.
For me, in Mission Impossible 1, we had dangling from the ceiling, right, on the rope. 2 and 3, I can't think of like really an iconic stunt. But then in 4, 5, 6, every single one had something that was like, wow. Like just
I think the whole Dubai sequence is the wow factor in Ghost Protocol. What happens in Rogue Nation? That's the one where
hanging off the airplane. Hanging off the airplane.
So Rogue Nation, I think this is where. So the last 2 movies, so episodes 5 and 6, or movies 5 and 6, I think is where you start to see Mission Impossible really take from James Bond, taking a lot of direction from James Bond or homage to James Bond, because that's the one where you have a second secret cabal of bad guys.
Yes.
Right? Called the Syndicate. And it's very reminiscent to what happens in James Bond with Christoph Waltz, right?
Yep.
Where he's leading another secret cabal of bad guys, Illuminati-esque bad guys that control basically all of the bad things that are happening around the world in a coordinated sense, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's where you have Rogue Nation and Fallout, which are, they weren't framed as direct sequels, but they're more connected than you would have thought.
So is Ghost Protocol, I remember this is like the bombing of the Kremlin, and who are the group of bad guys, or the protagonist in Ghost Protocol? Is it the Syndicate? The Syndicate starts in Rogue Nation, I know.
Yeah.
Is it No. Is it Ghost Protocol, the Syndicate also, or someone else?
No. In Ghost Protocol, it's that single Swedish doctor who thinks that the world's end is coming, so he wants to bring it upon or do whatever he wants to do by exploding a suitcase nuke that he steals from the Kremlin.
Okay. So there's just one protagonist in Ghost Protocol. Then Rogue Nation, that's where we get the Syndicate, right? That's the first time we get the idea of the Syndicate. All right. Yeah. And that goes into Fallout as well, where it's like the former members of the Syndicate.
Exactly. And then we get the iconic sequence here, I think.
Oh, the Halo jump.
The Halo jump, and quite possibly also the fact that you have like a very, very jacked Henry Cavill.
Yes. Mustachioed. In Movember.
Cocking his arms as if they were shotguns, and then fighting that guy in the bathroom. I think for me stands out as quite possibly one of the most, for me anyway, as one of the most standout moments in that movie. Right?
Yeah, I think Cavill. I think that Halo jump got a lot of publicity, and I thought it was kind of from the landing of that jump. Because remember, something happened with Henry Cavill's
he gets
suit.
Knocked out. And then Tom Cruise has to save him.
Yes, and then they have like they land rough on the roof, and Cavill's like, "Hey, dude, like, what's your problem?"
Exactly. No, and like because he was knocked out, and then he lands normally, and then he's like, "What's the big deal? That was easy, right?"
Yeah, that jump and then that fight scene. I agree. In the bathroom are like the iconic parts of Fallout that I remember.
Yeah, or at least maybe, and if not iconic, at least very memorable, right?
Yeah. I also remember, there's a scene that's not intended to be memorable, but it's the scene where Tom Cruise is like running and he jumps across from one building rooftop to another, and that's where he broke his leg, and that wasn't probably supposed to be memorable at all. It's just another Tom Cruise running, jumping scene.
That became memorable because we all knew that he actually broke his leg in real life. Yeah, that was in the last movie, in Fallout 7. Yeah. Oh my! In Mission Impossible 7. That's right.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I still cringe when I think of that. Right? Like when I see that, because we all know that he actually snaps his ankle there. Yeah. So you can't help but feel like, oh God,
I mean, I think there's a few super cool takeaways from that. One, Tom Cruise, I mean, he's not doing all his own stunts, of course, but like, that's a pretty serious stunt that he probably didn't have to do. They could have got like a stand-in for that. He was doing it himself. He hit the wall hard. Like anyone who watched it was like, whoa, like he hit it hard. And then I think the story goes that he still did like one or two more takes after that.
Yeah, he walked it off and then he tried again apparently. And then you're just like, how do you walk off a broken ankle? I mean, look, maybe I'm getting old, but I am not as old as Tom Cruise. But I can tell you right now, if I sneeze wrong, my back is out for the rest of the day.
I have to say, Tom Cruise, I mean, he's got his own reputation in life. He's gone through his own, public stuff. But I mean, when it comes to his films,
no one can take that away from him.
I don't think anyone can argue that he does not give 100%, when he's on set. I really don't think anyone could argue that with a straight face. He's all in all the time when it comes to,
and he's just reinforced that while filming 7 and 8, because remember that it came out that like he had a public meltdown on the set because people weren't being coronavirus safe. They weren't distancing, and like he flipped out, and like it was on the same scale of notoriety as when Christian Bale went off on the sound operator in Terminator.
What did he say to the sound operator?
Apparently, like this guy who was there was some sound engineer or something crossed the set while they were shooting, but he was unbeknownst to him that they were shooting, and he goes off on her. I mean, Christian Bale loses his mind. If you hear the video, it's actually shocking at how much he loses his marbles at this one guy.
He was just like, "Man, you're an idiot. What are you doing? Get off the set."
And not just that, but mocking him. Like he mocks him. Like he goes on a rant with him. And Tom Cruise does the same thing, but because he's not doing it for a filming related thing, he's doing it because these guys are breaching COVID protocol kind of thing.
Yeah.
It gives him
Mission
a level
Impossible COVID protocol.
Yeah, right. It gives him a little bit more intensity. It reaffirms his intensity, but intensity for the so-called right thing, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? But like it's not him being a jerk for the sake of because a take was ruined. It's him being a jerk because these guys are potentially endangering everyone.
Yeah, the way I heard it was, I mean, it's hard to say like what the reality was, but the way I heard it positioned was the same, which is he was saying, look, you guys have to, I mean, I'm paraphrasing without F-bombs, of course, but he's basically saying, look, you've got to take this seriously. If there's any violations, this will be shut down. We can't be shut down, so you've got to like follow the rules exactly. So I agree with you. It seemed like an overall like public safety message, not a, hey, you're an idiot, don't make mistakes kind of message,
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, I got to find that Christian Bale dressing down. I really want to hear that.
I'll send you the link. I'm sure I have.
No, we should play it. We should play it like during an episode. Because I bet a lot of other people want to hear it as well. I definitely do. If you can find it for the next one, we'll put it on a meltdown. Well,
that's how we'll open the next one. Is Christian Bale berating the living hell out of this one poor guy.
No, whenever you or I make a mistake, and we don't have like our microphone set up or something, right? Then we'll just play that towards the other person.
Fine. So yeah, it's anyway. So that was So 6 and 7 are direct sequels of each other. Or at least they didn't seem to be at first, but they really are. They relate to each other. In 6, you have Tom Cruise taking down the so-called Syndicate. The Syndicate was a rogue government organization that was created to do things without any governmental oversight. And it's about how they're trying to steal £2.5 billion to fund their operations, right? And then you have, now we're talking real money, right? Compared to $10 million in Mission Impossible.
I honestly don't remember at all the plot of Fallout. Not at all.
Okay. And then in Fallout is the one where you find out that the syndicates, the syndicate itself has kind of been broken up by Tom Cruise in Fallout, or in whatever the
Rogue Nation. In Rogue Nation. Yeah.
In Rogue Nation. Yeah, maybe I'm confusing the names, but okay, let's put it this way. In 6. In Series 5, Tom Cruise breaks up that organization. In movie 6, the members of that organization have now come back and created a sub-organization to still try to carry out that mission. And unbeknownst to us, one of those members is Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
Who is in that role, has now planted himself in the CIA as a double agent. And of course that culminates in that final battle between the two of them, which was actually, that's probably one of the more iconic sequences of that movie as well, is when they're having that standoff fist fight on the edge of a cliff with the helicopter dangling underneath them. And, Tom Cruise uses the weight of the helicopter to basically slam Cavill's face in, or whatever it is. Something like that. Yeah. So it's.
Can I ask you a question? Do you remember in Rogue Nation, which is 5?
Yeah.
There was, we remember the scene where that plane took off, that cargo plane took off, and Tom Cruise was hanging off the side of it. There was also an underwater scene, remember, where he had to hold his breath and go underwater and disable something. The lore is that Tom Cruise held his breath for 6 minutes.
Is that true?
I was going to ask you.
I can believe you saying that because I remember there was that. So if you remember Minority Report.
Yeah.
Right? There was that sequence in that movie where he's hiding from the Sentinel drones that are looking for him. Yeah. And he has just gotten his eyes transplanted.
Yes.
And to minimize his body heat, he jumps into a bathtub filled with ice water.
Yes.
And he holds his face submerged underneath, right? His head submerged.
I remember that.
When that came out, so what alerts the drones that there's someone in there is that you see in the movie an air bubble comes out of his nostril.
Oh, right, yes.
And apparently Tom Cruise did that himself. That wasn't CGI. He actually waited in the bathtub for however many minutes that was, and he forced himself to be able to exhale that one small, tiny air bubble. And I don't know how he did it, but he did that. So if you're telling me that he had to be in a swimming pool for 6 minutes, even though it seems impossible, I believe it.
I mean, how long can a human hold their breath? Like without brain damage? I thought it was. I don't know. I thought the unofficial rule. Oh my God, we need a doctor on the show. I thought the unofficial rule was 3-3-3. That you can go 3 minutes without breathing, 3 days without water, 3 days without food. That's not
3
right.
weeks without food.
3 weeks without food.
Yeah.
I thought the rule was 3-3-3.
Yeah, but then when it comes to Tom Cruise,
6 minutes?
It becomes 33.
He can hold his breath for 6 minutes? I don't know. I feel like that's embellished Hollywood.
Yeah,
6 minutes? Who is he? Chris Angel? That's crazy to me.
It could also be one of those urban myths,
yeah,
urban legends.
I think so as well.
That he's.
Yeah.
And in fairness to him, he's done all these things that.
Well, the amount of respect,
that, right?
Yeah, the amount of respect. You're right. I think we're saying the same thing, which is the amount of respect we have for him is so high that when we hear something that we think is actually impossible, we still kind of pause and say, maybe he did, or did he do it? It's not dismissed. If I would tell you, hey, I can hold my breath for 6 minutes, you're like, no way. Maybe you can do it for 60 seconds. No way you can do it for 6 minutes. Right? You just dismiss it immediately. When as Tom Cruise, we're kind of I don't know, the guy is kind of like a psychopath. Maybe he did practice it. Maybe he can do it for 6 minutes.
Yeah.
But for me, that seems like Chris Angel kind of
it seems David Copperfield in the sense that, he's clearly got to have an oxygen tank in there. But then but then you also know he walked off a broken foot, right? Or a broken ankle, right? So when you look at that kind of intensity and dedication, you can't help but think, a part of you at least is you know what? I believe it. Yeah. Maybe he actually is a vampire and he turned himself into a vampire for interview with a vampire because he's crazy enough that he would do that.
He is crazy enough that he would do that.
So
in the very best sense of the word, yeah.
Yeah, again, I don't say these things speciously. I don't say it as an insult. I say it as, in a way, honoring him by saying, hey, this guy is so dedicated to the craft. For good or for bad, if there's something the human body can do, he will figure it out to get it done if he can't do it himself, I saw a late night show where I can't remember who it was. An actor was talking to Tom Cruise, right? And he was telling him about how Tom Cruise was doing all these stunts. And apparently there was a stunt that Tom Cruise wanted to do for one of the Mission Impossibles. And the safety guy said, no way. You can't do that. We can't do that. So Tom Cruise fired him and hired another safety guy who would say yes.
It's like an investment bank firing the compliance officer. Yeah,
that's exactly it. That's exactly what happened. Is I'll just keep firing you until I find someone who's who's smart enough to say yes to me.
Like Michael Jackson's physician.
Yeah.
Prescribe this. No. Well, then you're not my physician anymore. And I'll keep interviewing someone until I find someone who's going to say yes, right?
Exactly.
And eventually someone will.
It's mind-boggling, but that's Tom Cruise for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's I know in one of the previous episodes we talked about villains that we need to talk about, but like Tom Cruise in Collateral, the reason he was so menacing was because us as people, as regular viewers, know Tom Cruise is a likable, highly charismatic guy. But so we also believe and we know that he does everything that he does. So when he shows up as a bad guy, you can't help but feel like, oh my God, he could actually do that. Like if he decided tomorrow, hey, I want to quit Hollywood and become a contract killer, he could do it. I'm not saying he should do that. Tom Cruise, if you're listening to this, please do not be a contract killer. We want to see you in more Mission Impossible movies.
He may be good at that, but I think his face is a little bit too recognizable to actually get away with it. You should probably be a little bit more anonymous if you're going to go into that line of work, right?
All right. I mean, he did color his hair silver.
Yeah. So what's happening with 7? When is it coming out? It's still Skydance, Bad Robot, Christopher McQuarrie. When? Tell me when. Simon Pegg's in it. Ving Rhames is in it. All the same folks that we want to see. When is this happening?
Yeah, so look, officially the movie is in what Hollywood calls as post-production, which is to say it's done, but they're, they don't know when they're going to release it or not release it, whatever it is. I don't know.
Yeah. I'll tell you what Wikipedia says.
Okay, tell me.
For better or for worse. Wikipedia says Mission Impossible 7 is scheduled to be released on July 14th.
2023?
2023.
Yeah.
It was and then it says, sadly, it should have a sad emoji here. It was previously set to be released on July 23, 2021, November 19, 2021, May 27, 2022, September 30, 2022, before being delayed and blah-de-blah-de-blah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's a shame. It's a real shame because I have high expectations and high hopes for it. Or not expectation, but high hopes for it.
Yeah.
So I am looking forward to it. But that means that Mission Impossible 8 won't be until 2024.
I mean, yeah, that's so. Let me tell you what Wikipedia says. This film is currently scheduled to be released on June 28, 2024.
There you go.
That's too late.
No, so it's not too late. I'll argue with you on that. I think that it's not too late given where Mission Impossible 7 comes, because you don't want to see 7 and 8 back to back, right? Really? Yeah, all movies, not just the Mission Impossible series, are like a little bit like a fine wine, right? Is that you want to let it breathe a bit. You want to give it a bit of space. If you overwhelm too many of them in too short a time, you risk diluting the movie's impact, right? And as much as I love seeing superhero movies all the time, I would say this is one of the easiest things you could ding the Marvel Cinematic Universe for, is releasing 3 or 4 movies every year for 10 years in a row, or for however many years in a row, has significantly downplayed the value of each of those movies, because you're no longer excited for that movie a month after it's come out because you're already looking forward to the next one, right?
So I'm really... But I guess, I don't have a calendar in front of me, so I can't say why this doesn't make sense. But given that this movie should have been ready in 2021... why aren't they showing it at the end of 2022 and then have the other... I'm still not clear why they're waiting until mid-2023. That seems like a really long delay to me.
So that you hit the summer, right? You hit the summer stride.
Why not do winter? Why not do that Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, December 2022? Shave 6 months. Yeah. I think also Top Gun is jamming things up as well. Because as you said, okay, you can't have too much of a good thing, but you also can't have probably too much Tom Cruise. And if he's going to be doing Top Gun 2, which I think is coming out now.
This summer?
Wikipedia says May 2022.
Yeah.
So that means 3 years in a row, he's got a blockbuster coming out kind of in summer.
Yeah,
May,
June. Which is great because it maximizes the box office potential for that movie, right? You don't want to have Mission Impossible. You don't want a Tom Cruise movie interrupting with another Tom Cruise movie. Right. Mm-hmm. And then in terms of blockbusters coming out in the winter, remember, although it's been confirmed as delayed now, you were looking at that time, Aquaman, you were looking at, The Flash, and you were looking at Black Panther 2 coming out all around that same time of end of 2022. You don't want to be Mission Impossible. I love the Mission Impossible franchise, but between those 4 movies that I just mentioned, Mission Impossible 4 is going to be the one Mission Impossible is going to be the one that suffers the most. Because I strongly believe.
Can you say that again? Among what films do you think suffers the most? Can you list them out again?
Yeah. So I think that if you look at the end of 2022, right?
Yeah.
And assuming that the releases held, if you have Black Panther 2, if you have Aquaman 2, and you have The Flash, and everyone knows in The Flash all the Batmen are coming back into it, I think at least in America, I think that Mission Impossible 4 comes down as the loser out of those 4 movies in December.
I don't know, Pete. I don't know if that's a hot take, but I have to say I don't know about that. I mean,
I'm just thinking in terms of box office over the last 5 to 10 years, the biggest winners have all been superhero movies. All of them. And I don't think a Mission Impossible movie is going to be able to beat Black Panther 2 in the cinema. I just don't. Black Panther 1 made $1 billion, almost half of that in the first 2 or 3 weeks. There's no way Mission Impossible is $1 billion movie. I love those franchises, but the Mission Impossible franchise is not $1 billion movie franchise.
So you think, are we now looking at the end of 22 and we're going to have Black Panther 2, we're going to have Flash, and we're going to have Aquaman 2?
No,
that
because
can't make sense. They've got
Flash and Aquaman. No, Flash and Aquaman both have been delayed. I don't know when to, but I did see that Jason Momoa tweeted it out that I think Aquaman 2 is 23 now, and I think The Flash has taken Aquaman's position in the cinema, which means that it'll come down to like Black Panther versus Flash. And if that's the case, I definitely still expect Black Panther to win.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
The first one was such a cultural phenomenon. And I think on top of that, now you're going to have a mystery as to seeing what they do with, unfortunately Chadwick Boseman has passed away.
Yeah.
So how do they move on from that? And then you have first of all, you have the Marvel effect. Second of all, you have the cultural effect because Black Panther really was the first African-American / black / African, whatever you want to deem it, ethnically impactful movie in the superhero environment for Marvel, right? If you think so, I think in terms of culture, the cultural impact, I think is for Black Panther is far more significant than any of the other superhero movies that we've seen in the recent years. So I think that's why, for me particular, I just think that, people are going to go to the cinema for Black Panther 2 in the droves. And by the way, even if you discount all of that, Black Panther 1 was just an excellent movie, right? It was an excellent Ryan movie. Coogler knows how to make excellent movies. So I fully expect Black Panther 2 to be equally good, if not better.
So what is Top Gun coming up against in May? Do you have any idea?
In the summer, what are the big ones? Let's see. I'm looking it up now.
It's not clear. I mean, I think even right now, after we've got Batman, which we reviewed, please check it out. We're in a little bit of a lull. There is The Contractor with Chris Pine, who we haven't seen in ages.
You've got, so in terms of summer blockbuster potential movies, you've got the Minions 2, right? Which, I mean, I know it's an animated kids movie, but it's still a very successful franchise.
I'm in, by the way.
Right?
I just want to say, if listeners, we are going to be reviewing Minions 2. I'm in.
Oh, we're forgetting. We have Jurassic World 3.
I'm not in.
Right?
What else?
No, we may not be in, but these are still national. I mean, these are blockbuster type movies, right?
I agree.
You have the prequel to Toy Story with Lightyear. You've got what else coming out? Let me see. In terms of things that I think are going to be really massive successes, theoretically, I don't know if it's going to be, because I don't know the impact because I don't watch the show. Downton Abbey is releasing another movie.
What? Downton Abbey's having a movie?
I think it's their second one. I think they've already released a movie.
I do watch Downton Abbey.
I haven't seen it.
I have watched. Wow, I feel like it's like extremely old, but I feel like I've seen like a few episodes, but like it's not my style. Although I have to say, if I bet if I watched a season, I'd be totally hooked. But just like after the first like episode or two, like those period pieces are not my style.
Yeah, period pieces aren't my. And they're great. I'm really a showcase of excellent acting, but not my thing. But
a showcase. Showcase.
Thor 3 is this summer.
Oh yeah.
So you've got movies which are I'm not saying it's a stacked summer, but you've got a reasonable amount of competition, which is why I think Top Gun 2 needs to sneak in there at the start to, just before summer is about to start, so that it can kind of sneak the crown away from anyone else early. Because I think I fully expect, out of all of these movies, I think Thor is probably going to be the smash hit, because you now also have Natalie Portman coming back. So you'll get a lot more people interested in that again. And of course, Thor 3 was a big, Thor 3 was a big hit. Thor
Ragnarok
4, I think,
was amazing.
Even better.
Maybe one of my favorite. Yeah, but Pete, there's something that you're pointing out to me, and I think you're doing it in a delicate way, which I appreciate. Your bedside manner. I think that Top Gun is a blockbuster because I remember 1985 when I was a kid going to the cinema and seeing Top Gun, and it was wow to me.
Yeah.
Now, Top Gun probably isn't the same. And even though I'm excited, there's probably not a lot of people who aren't really our generation who are that excited about it, I mean, first of all, I don't think probably any women are that excited about it. There was a love story and Tom Cruise was much younger. That's probably faded. And anyone who's like younger than our generation probably isn't that excited about the movie anymore. I mean, maybe they see the trailer and they get excited, but for me, it's like, wow, I've been waiting for this for 30 years. This is so exciting, or 25 years. It doesn't probably have the same appeal to a lot of other pieces. So what I perceive as a huge summer blockbuster isn't the same for a lot of other people. And
I think so.
Minions 2 or Toy Story may actually be a bigger box office hit,
Yeah, and I think it's also... So look, I think we have to separate two things, right? I think one, we have to think of the traditional blockbuster in terms of movies that we grew up watching.
Yeah.
And then also the second aspect of it is the actual financial take. So while you and I will be there in our flight suits watching Top Gun 2, with bags of popcorn and cheering on every scene.
That's 100% correct. I am wearing a flight suit, by the way.
Right. So while that's definitely true, I still anticipate that right now in the current climate, the last 10 years or so, really the summers have been dominated by superhero movies.
Yeah.
Right. So that's why I think that I'm not giving this a qualitative, justification. I'm purely talking about the quantitative financial results. So I think that out of this list, for example, in the summer, I think Thor has the best chance of being the summer, winner, the quote unquote winner of the box office dollars. That's not to say that, Top Gun 2 isn't going to make hundreds of millions of dollars, but I think that,
what if it was Thor? What if it was Thor versus Mission Impossible? What's the bigger franchise? Still Thor?
Still Thor. For sure. No comparison, because the superhero genre as a whole has raised more billion-dollar movies in the last decade, or at least, if not $1 billion, at least $500 million movies than any other franchise or any other genre.
Can we see the takes? Do you have any information on the takes of the Mission Impossible movies? Like, what was the last Mission Impossible? Mission Impossible films box office. What do you think they are? $500 million? 300 million? What do you think they are?
All right. Look, I can tell you right now. So Mission Impossible 1 took a worldwide box office of $458 million. These are not inflation adjusted. Not
a bad amount for that day, right?
Very good for Mission Impossible in 1996. Yes. Okay. Yes. On a budget of 80.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mission Impossible 2 made $550 million.
Whoa, okay.
Mission Impossible 3, huge drop, made $400 million. Mission Impossible 4 made $700 million.
Wow, that's huge. That's 4.
So 694, right?
That's number. That's Mission Impossible 4.
That's 4. Mission Impossible.
That's Ghost Protocol, right?
Ghost Protocol, yeah.
Okay.
Rogue Nation made slightly less at $690 million.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last one, Fallout, made the most so far at $790 million.
All right, here's a good trivia question. Has Tom Cruise ever had a $1 billion movie? It sounds like the answer is no. Let's do a little bit of searching. It sounds like.
Let's see. Let's do a little bit of searching here. So, Tom Cruise okay, so this is only giving a cumulative, unfortunately. But over 39 movies.
Yeah, but what has made more than that 700 million?
Here we go. Mission Impossible, let's sort by size. Yeah, Mission Impossible is the most. In fact, all of the Mission Impossibles are there. War of the Worlds, interestingly enough, made $607 million, beating it out. Last Samurai made $450 million, but then the rest of it, it's almost all exclusively Mission Impossible is the top. And the most that the Mission Impossible movies made was $790 million, right?
Wow. I mean, but I wonder, is there a list of $1 billion movies? How many $1 billion movies are there?
All right, let's look at the records.
Can I guess before we say it? I'm going to guess there's 12.
$1 billion movies?
Yes.
You're going to say 12, eh?
I mean, are we doing, I'm going to say that's $1 billion, not inflation adjusted. Like
Yeah. So there are 48 movies.
No way. 48 movies have made $1 billion?
Yeah. Yeah. Get this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them have made 2.
I mean, that should not diminish the Tom Cruise career, which is amazing by almost any measure. But
yeah, of course.
I'm sure it's got to be something that he's cognizant of, which is I've been in so many movies, I've been amazing in everything. How is it possible I don't have a $1 billion movie,
Yeah.
All right, I'll get off my Tom Cruise soapbox, but I have to say, I'm super excited for Top Gun. I'm super excited for Mission Impossible, and I'm happy that I understand a little bit more or have refreshed myself about the history of the Mission Impossibles, because after so long, I was just fuzzy about it. And I have to say, this is a risk. I mean, we've seen it. We just talked about Avatar. You and I have done how many episodes of films and stuff? We've never mentioned Avatar at all, have we? Like, it's not even on our radar, is it?
Yeah.
And I think
I
that's
agree.
Yeah, that's a risk when you don't make a movie for several years, is that the franchise just kind of like, you lose the enthusiasm. And I take your point about, look, you don't want to like bunch all these Mission Impossibles together. It's going to diminish the brand value of the franchise. Okay, that's probably true. There's an amount of fatigue you can have. But I have to say, you've also got to be careful not to spread them out too long. Like, look what's happened to Top Gun. Top Gun 2 comes out 3 years after the original. It's a $1 billion movie. It comes out now, and Paramount is afraid of when to place it because they think it's going to get trashed by all these other people that didn't even exist when the first one came out, right? So Pete, I think we've covered all things Tom Cruise today, especially Mission Impossible. And we bled into some of the other stuff, which is good to kind of get a sense of what's coming up right now. So we need to kind of focus on what's next and what are we going to watch in the interim until some of these blockbusters come out this summer, right?
I know that in a couple weeks from now, we're going to start seeing the episodes of Moon Knight come out.
Oh, yeah. I'm excited for that. I'm all in for that.
And then shortly thereafter, Ewan McGregor is returning as Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Obi-Wan.
The trailer which just came out a week ago.
Yeah. Actually, I have not watched the Obi-Wan trailer intentionally because I really want to go into this without any expectations. I mean, my expectation is that I'm so excited. It's on Disney. I kind of assume it's going to be good. I mean, I've seen, Mandalorian. I've seen, House of Boba. I assume it's going to be quite good. And I'm going to watch it, whether I see the trailer or not. So I really don't want the trailer because I just want to turn it on the first time and have that surprise. Like, that's the exciting one where I need draw the shades, turn off the lights, get my popcorn, get my little TV tray of everything organized just right, turn off my mobile, make sure there's no distractions, and I'm just in a relaxed mood. And I just want to turn it on and just be wowed. I don't want to be like, oh, he looks pretty good, or that's not what I thought he'd look like, or that looks cool. I can't wait to see if that's in the opening scene or at the end, or I just want it to be surprise all the way through.
I will just say, no spoiler at all, I will just say I'm very excited for it, based on the trailer.
I appreciate that. So that's in advance. That's a subscribe. Or I'm just going to say I'm already giving it a subscribe. That I already have Disney Plus, but if I didn't, I would already subscribe to Disney Plus to watch Obi-Wan. I'm that excited about it. So, okay, Pete, pleasure as always. Appreciate your time, and thanks for all your insights.
All right, thank you so much, Ethan. All right, bye, guys.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Films and Stuff. If you haven't already, please subscribe and review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever podcasts are downloaded. Films and Stuff. There is no substitute.